feeling Friday today?
It's Fun Friday.
It is.
It's Fun Friday.
Yeah, okay. All right, with that accent, do it one more time.
Fun Friday.
Okay. All right.
She's been morphing into character all week.
I know. I don't know
She's
what
also
we're
got
going to
the
get.
cutest little nun book.
Oh, a little bit Buddhist book. Buddhist book.
Buddhist book.
Tiny.
Small.
Tiny.
Okay. All right. Today we're looking back at the things from our past that make us feel nostalgic. And by that we mean something that makes you feel sentimental or longing for the past. A new study says most people feel nostalgic when they're watching a TV show or a movie from their teen years. As for what they're watching, from the 80s, nearly half of Americans feel nostalgic watching the show Cheers. For movies, people turn to Die Hard and Big to give them a sense of nostalgia. For the 90s kids, their favorites were the show Baywatch, movies like Edward Scissorhands, Love, and Clueless. And as for the holidays, movies that make us feel nostalgic are Home Alone, The Santa Claus, and Miracle on 34th Street.
I have a little factoids for you,
please,
just letting you know.
Yep.
79% of Americans say if they're having a bad day, they'll watch something nostalgic to make them feel better. That's a huge majority. 75% said they would subscribe to a streaming service just for content that makes them feel nostalgic. And over half of parents say they look forward to pointing things out on TV or movies that they recognize, but they know their kids won't. It's a strong emotion, nostalgia.
Is there a typical show that you gravitate towards to make you feel safe?
I don't know
Which
about,
is nostalgia to me.
Yeah, I don't know about feeling safe, but definitely reminding me of my childhood, coming home from school. And this was on every day. It was the coolest thing, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
That was
Absolutely.
just the coolest thing ever. And also Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to be a witch. I thought I was a witch. I've got 2 cats now. It explains a lot.
Do you still think a bit? There's a sense of a familiar, the cat?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I like the little star pendant necklace.
Oh, yes, Steph.
There's a store in town
Writing
here
little
that just
spells.
sells stuff for witches.
Really?
Yes.
What did you say?
There's a store in town that just sells stuff for witches.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
Do you go?
I'm not going to give them a free plug, but you can look it up. I'm sure they're not a bunch.
I'm not going to be making any potions anytime soon, but
Okay.
if it ever happens, I'll.
A spell.
All right,
I
hook me
love
up.
for
I need
you.
a good spell.
I bet. Can you make one of those the dolls that you poke?
Oh.
Aren't they meant to like kill people though?
Or hurt them, I think.
Okay.
The voodoo dolls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tori, what was nostalgic to you?
My friend Lauren Thaler and I, my best friend growing up, we wore out this videotape so much that it burned in the VCR.
Like it
caught fire because we watched it over and over. It's called Clue. It's called Clue, and it's Tim Curry and it's Professor Plum in the conservatory with the lead pipe. And if you didn't know, in the 80s, when this was released in theaters, 3 different endings were created. So it spread around different theaters. You'd come out and say, I can't believe it was Professor Plum. And your friend would say, no, it wasn't. It was Miss Scarlet.
That's brilliant.
Just like the board game. It was a great movie. I highly suggest you watch it.
I think that's so ahead of its time.
Oh,
3 endings.
brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's great marketing. I mean,
Right.
What's your go-to?
for me, I'm from the time of VHS. So like towards the end, they were really fancy, and they had ones that could hold 2 or 3 movies. And The Great Outdoors was always on one of them. I rewatched The Great Outdoors all the time. The sarcasm between Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, the classism between the two, and what was real and what wasn't, still holds up and resonates today. But it's just really funny for me. So that's mine. What about you, Sammy?
That one does hold up.
It's
by the way.
my movie.
I know. So I have a TV show and a movie that always makes me nostalgic, and I've introduced my kids to DuckTales.
Oh,
and they love DuckTales.
That was great.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I mean, they were such troublemakers.
When he jumped into the gold coins.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't
we all
suggest
wish.
that. That would be real bad.
It would hurt.
Well, we all wish we had like a big pond full of gold coins.
Totally.
There we go.
And then as far as movies go, and I know Al loves this movie too, is Death
What's that?
Becomes Her.
Oh, yes.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh.
timeless.
Brilliant.
Timeless. I used to come home from school, probably from like 3rd grade to 6th grade, and I would watch this, or what was the one with Roseanne Barr?
Was she a ghost? or
No, She-Devil.
She-Devil. Speaking of VHS tapes, on that VHS tape was some
Good
baseball
call.
movie with Charlie Sheen, Major League
Major
Baseball.
League.
I would fast forward that one because my brother was into that one, and I would
a
watch
classic.
back to back She-Devil and Death Becomes Her.
Yes,
You know-
She-Devil, good pull.
Yeah, the
Good
Roseanne
pull.
Barr one. I had on VHS my one picnic with my grandma, and she said beautiful things to me, and my mom taped it over with Mamma Mia 2.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Great movie.
We have Pierce, so just as grandma's like, Tori, come over here, Pierce Brosnan's like, Mamma mia, mamma mia. Anyway, so
Oh,
sorry.
Judy.
Sorry.
Yeah, Judy. Okay, so looking ahead to the future, though, the study also asked people what they would be nostalgic for in 20 years. That's interesting. So more than half of people said smartphones. 43% said trendy music on TikTok and flare or bootcut jeans. 34% said working from home, and 22% said crop tops.
I'm so confused. Why will flares be nostalgic? I mean, they're surely going to be in fashion still.
I agree. It's
Yeah,
gonna
they'll
be-
come back.
Yeah, it's a cycle, right?
Right, because it's 90s,
Yeah.
and now we're in
I
2023.
mean, vintage means 20 years.
But that's big now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's been always, right? 70s
Always
now.
coming back.
Always.
You said something interesting that cars will be nostalgic.
I think just driving, the idea of driving
Yeah,
will
driving
be nostalgic. Where like you can control the car. I think it'll be like really old school.
So computerized that like you don't even have to like use your hands on steering wheel.
Self-driving.
I wonder what will happen though, because when you think about the days of like, we all relied on a payphone.
Right.
Like whether it's like, oh no, my mom has to pick me up early, or she has to pick me up later. If I was on the way to a babysitting job and I knew I was late, I would pull over, go to a payphone and notify said employer. So I'm just wondering in 20 years, what is going to completely blow our mind? Or are we going to go in the opposite direction, and are we going to have a push against like the smartphones? I don't know.
It depends on how this generation ends up receiving technology, because
Yes.
before we were hungry for different kinds of technology, but now we've gotten to the point where you can see anything you want, you can hear anything
And
you
it's
want.
almost too much.
You can make your own music, you can make your own clothes, and maybe things like you said, always the pendulum will revert, and it'll be kind of really cool to just own something or just have quiet time or not be able to be reached at all times. Maybe that'll be the cool thing.
That'd
like
be
it.
lovely.
I like it. We're all
Yeah.
craving it.